Hey guys, it's Honey Lou. I am going to try to make this video one more time. I just filmed it and then I went and watched it and I kept saying a lot, and then I was like, damn it. So I'm not gonna do that this time. I'm gonna try really hard not to do that or say like. So, yes, it's been a while that I filmed and it's really hard. It really is hard. I have been collecting and cutting collage. I'm doing collage art and yeah, so I got some glues. I'm trying out different glues. This is the UHU stick. Works pretty good. I got this Scotch glue stick that I haven't tried yet. It says wrinkle free and it has like a little picture on there, so I thought that'd be kind of cool. And then I have this one I haven't tried out yet. I thought this was pretty cool. And then I've been collecting these razors. So I'm having fun with that. I got this Mod Podge. I haven't really made that much art yet. I've just been practicing. Well, I have these little stations of bins on my desk right now. I moved all of my tarot decks onto my altar in my bedroom. It's a little bit higher. And so that's my practice now, is just doing altar work, pulling some cards, putting on my altar and, straight up so I could see them all day. It makes it very beautiful, colorful. And slowing it down really is a effective way to learn tarot. So this is all I made so far. This is practice. I did it and I hated it. I had this cool idea and I was like, no, I don't like it anymore. So I put it away. I was going to throw it away and then it dried up and I was like, oh, that's kind of cool. Okay, maybe I'll finish it. Maybe I'll just keep practicing on this. Damn it. I said, Anyways, so I have these stations. I have like this cut up spot. I got my textured bin. I have my background bins. I got like the death card, the sun card, little stations like that. I'll probably show you guys sometime. These are my prayer books. My prayer books. Sorry. These are my prayer boxes. My son actually took this out of my mom's room and I haven't seen this in a long time. I made this in rehab and it's these little shells that I got in California. And then I have like these puffy paint, 3D paint on top. And I didn't really like it at first, but when I saw it now, I was like, oh, I kind of like that. So it's this small and this one's mine. This is the one I kept for myself. I finished it. I liked it. I have a thing for flowers. I like to draw flowers and paint flowers. Something about flowers that I really, really like. Damn it, I did it again. Okay. So I have a shooting star in here, and these are my prayer box. These are my little prayers. So a counselor, I was like crying, and I was really having a hard time. In the beginning, I was there, and I was really bored, and I wanted to do art. But he seen me crying, and I was like wiping my tears and stuff, and he talked about how when he was in rehab, they made prayer boxes, and everything in his prayer boxes came true. So that gave me a lot of hope, and I asked if we could do that, if we could have art. And he surprised us with these prayer boxes, and I was really excited, and this actually kept me very motivated. And guess what? Everything in my prayer box came true. So if you guys are interested in manifesting or, have wishes, this is a good way to kind of store your prayers. And I started out with small prayers, not big prayers, just small little things that seemed pretty easy to do, that were doable for me, and it worked. But it's a fun way to, just look at something and know that your prayers are in there and to set it and forget about it, I guess. Damn it. I used a lot of decks last month. And yeah, I switched them out quite a bit. I wasn't too heavy in the tarot practice. I was just kind of using it as inspiration, empowerment. Switching my focus more so on my projects. And so Yeah, I'm just switching my. I'm trying hard not to say it. Okay, let's just show you the decks. So the only deck that I used and journaled with was the Jean Dodal. I used the Squid Cake guidebook with this deck, and I like the guidebook because it gives you the visuals and examples, and that helps me to kind of have more confidence in seeing what I'm seeing and actually going with it. I think the Marseille system is very profound and very rich. It has a way of, so if you have this problem, this big problem, right? It's this big problem. The Marseille has a way of kind of showing you what's going around, what's good, what's bad, what's helping, what's coming. It kind of shows you, it kind of shrinks that problem down and shows you what's going around. It has a magical way of doing that, and I don't really know how to explain it, but that's the best way I could explain it. And I like this Dodal because it's a lot larger, it's a lot easier to see. Damn it! So it's just a nicer, more sharper deck to practice, to use, to memorize, and which is really cool is the Seven of Pentacles. So the Thoth, it talks with the keywords failure, and the Rider-Waite-Smith is patience, harvesting, they're still kind of the same thing. They both kind of mean the same thing. But with the Marseille, it's cool. In the Squid Cake, it talks about how there's an opportunity coming in, and it's actually a positive card of there's an opportunity coming and it's good to take it, or it's giving you kind of that, what's that word? I don't know. It's just telling you to take that opportunity and grab it. It's there for you. So yeah, I journal with this pretty much every day. I have fun with it. It has its own little station on my wood stove, and so that one has been a favorite of mine. I've been thrift shopping too, and I got 31 magazines. They were each 25 cents each, so I got 31 magazines, National Geographic, for 25 cents, and I paid $7.75 for all of them. Damn it. And then also I went on eBay and I bought 2 lots. I bought a 10 lot and I bought an 8 lot. And those are a little bit more spendier, but I liked the variety I got from those lots. So I liked them all. It was like $20, $10. Okay, and then now let's do the Carol Herzer decks. I love Carol Herzer decks. Definitely my top 2 for sure. I've actually started to downsize my collection. I am selling some of my decks right now. And I kind of already know myself enough to kind of know if I'm going to use a deck or if I'm not. If there's something I don't like about it, I know that I'm not going to use it. I have some pretty decks, pretty vintage decks that I don't use because more so it's not readable for me, or I just don't see myself putting it on my altar or reading it on my table. This one I like to read on my table or on my altar. I think it looks beautiful both ways. It's Rider-Waite-Smith. I just ask whatever questions I'm feeling that day, and that's pretty much just how I use it. And it's so beautiful. I found out that Carol Herzer and I are birthday buddies. For some reason, I thought she said she was a Cancer and Sagittarius rising, but she is a Sagittarius, and she's a Cancer rising, and then she's a Capricorn moon. So we both have the same elements. I'm Sagittarius, Sun, Scorpio rising, and I'm Virgo moon. She's Sagittarius, Sun, Cancer rising, and Capricorn moon. And we're both born on December 16th. So it's kind of cool because I've always felt like there were some things that I felt that were familiar with her work, because I always look at her work and I'm like, man, that's something I would totally do. with the coloring. I am all about the colors, and she's really good at the colors. So when I look at her stuff, I'm just like, man, I could totally do that. Or I see myself doing something like this. So I admire her a lot, and that actually made me really, really happy to find out that she is my birthday buddy. And we talked back and forth about that, so that was kind of cool. And then I shared some of my art, and I admire her a lot, and I'm inspired. I love her decks. Inner Truth was my newest deck that I got, and this really quenches that thirst for me of the colorful Carol Herzer deck. This one's really unique too with the coloring. It's so different with the colors. This is very like 60s, I would say. Very glittery. She did a really good job. This is my favorite 10 of Wands. I haven't been feeling good for the past 2 months. I've been off and on, so this is deck I haven't been using, but the days when I feel good, I will use it, and I'm just like amazed and blown away with how beautiful this deck is, and I can't wait to use it more. I'm starting to feel better. I went to the dentist. I think maybe that was probably some of the health problems I was having. But this is my favorite card right here. And this one. Yeah. But I just love to shuffle it like this and look at the colors. I love these backs. I like that they're kind of inconsistent where you could see the paint strokes. And, damn it, my ums. Look how pretty that is. And it has that homemade feel. And I think these backs look beautiful with these fronts. It really adds a different layer to it all. It's really, really cool. So I'm happy that I got this. This was on my wish list too, and I actually had glittered on there. And I didn't know she did the Inner Truth glittered, but it was really cool that she offered if I wanted it glittered or not, because I was just going to be like, oh, I'll just get the Inner Truth glittered back, because I didn't know that I could do this. But she offered it, and I was like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I'm getting it the way I wanted it. Look at that. Look how pretty those greens are. I'm blown away with the coloring. She has like this purple on the purple, the blues on the blues, and then she even has like the oranges have, and then the yellows have sparkles. It's really, really well done. There's like this purpley sparkles here, the pinks. It's so pretty. It's very photogenic too. This deck is a big hit, I've noticed on my Instagram, so that's really cool. And I love that. This one feels like it glows in the dark. And these greens are so unique. This is my favorite card in the whole deck. There's like sparkles there that are pink. All of these have the matching sparkles on it. And I love this part right here where it blends this together. I like this card with this ground, this color right here. I love this colors together. I love the quartz. This one's so pretty too. This purpley color is so pretty with this orange, that burnt orange. That looks so cool. Very unique. I love this too. Okay, my nails are disgusting too. Look at that. They're all dry. I have like these artist kind of fingers right now. But I've noticed my skin has gotten really bad since I've been sick too, and I think it's just because I haven't been feeling good. And the one Carol Herzer deck that's been really surprising me, that's actually been my go-to favorite, is the non-color blue Snow Starlight. I love this bag. I don't know, I just love this one so much. I like to shuffle it. I love these backs. It fits in my hand so perfectly. It's my favorite deck to overhand shuffle. It's very flat. I like this new cardstock because the cardstock is very flat. There's no like curves or anything. Um, but it just feels very luscious, I guess. I switched the to I. Oh, damn it. Anyways, this deck is very peaceful. It does have that blueprint of kind of being that blueprint and then you creating that story, if that makes sense. So it's like that reference, and it's I don't know how to explain it, but it is very peaceful. It definitely puts me in a very clear mind. I feel very at peace when I use this deck, and there's no distractions. So it has that symbol for me to go off of, and that's the best way I could describe it. I love this card too. This Devil's my favorite. I love this little ink right there, and I love how glittery it is. And this deck just fits perfectly in my hand. This one's the largest deck that I own of hers, and my other ones are a little bit smaller. I love this card too. So yeah, this one has been my favorite in January. And it's really surprising me too. I was really drawn to this deck, but I was like, I hope I use it. I hope I love it. Just because I have the colorful ones, but this one actually does have like a very special spot in my practice and in my heart. And I feel like my taste is changing a lot, so I know that I'm growing up, I'm maturing in ways of like having new tastes in decks and stuff like that. Favorite pairing is the Spolia Tarot and the Crow's Magic. So I finally started using the Spolia, and this has been like my main deck for my altar. It's really colorful. It adds a lot of like color to my altar. It adds a lot of color to my bedroom. It looks really pretty. So this deck is made for a altar for me anyways, in my opinion. It's not a deck to lay on your table and to read, it's not a deck for that. It's made for the altar, and it works very profoundly on the altar. But anyways, I found this to be an awesome pairing. I felt like these two worked really well together as a combo. I don't know what it was, but they're both very airy. These keywords are amazing. They're very clear. I was getting reoccurring cards for a long time. I was like, okay, why am I getting this? I don't understand it. But then I pulled out the Crow's Magic and I got those same cards. And I'm like, okay, now I know what it's telling me. I get it now. I have a new interpretation for that card now. And it all made sense. So yeah, they're both very solid decks. These both have both amazing guidebooks and companion books. Yeah, they're both solid readers. That's all I could say. Don't use them for anything specific except for just day-to-day questions, or just to see what's going to happen and seeing how these play out throughout my day. Or look at the Empress and Empress. They look good. That's about it. So I'm glad that I started to use the Spolia finally. Yeah, I was a little bit, I don't know, I think it was just because I was unsure if I was going to use it, but I wanted to use it. I wanted to be the one that used it. I was having a hard time making a commitment to using it, but I finally did. My Thothi deck, this is the perfect deck for me. It is the perfect deck for me. And I hope everybody gets to experience their perfect deck. So it's kind of hard for me to make a deck because this deck is so perfect for me. It has everything that I need. It has everything that I want. The coloring, the symbolism. There's something about like the saturation, the pips, the coloring. It really provokes, like, there's just the symbols of I don't know, it just reads really well for me, and it's very spiritual. There's something about the colors too, and I can't really quite explain it really well. But there's something about the coloring of this deck and the symbolism, the pips that really work for me. And I think all of these cards are very beautiful, and that's really important. And I know this deck wouldn't be perfect for everybody, but this is my perfect deck. And perfect decks do exist, right? For me anyways, and I hope everybody gets to experience that feeling and find their own perfect deck. But this is my perfect deck. I was shuffling this deck, and the moon card fell in my trash can, and the trash can had water in it, and I saw it, and I hurried up and grabbed it and dried it out. Nothing happened to the moon, but I got kind of scared. But one thing I really like about this deck too is the cardstock. It's like this plastic feel to it, and it has like this gloss on there, and it really protects the cards where it makes it really indestructible. I use this deck a lot, and it's still actually in really good shape. It's more beautiful, I think. And I was thinking about retiring this deck. See, my moon's fine. Nothing's wrong with it. Works like a charm. And use my other one, but I don't know. Because I just want to keep it like this. Like, I think this looks perfect the way it is. Used. I'm not really a big fan of how they look when you first have them, you know. I like them when they're worn in a little bit. This one, my Thoth decks anyways, I like the look of them when they are worn. But anyways, so you see this. This is what I was inspired by with this artwork right here. I was like, oh cool, I could just do this little swirly thing, and then I could do like this blue-green little thing around, and then I could find like little astrology things, and then I was gonna do like a subline sun, you know, like make it all trippy and hippie. I could put butterflies there and have people jumping up, you know. I wanted to try it out. So this is just my little tester thing, but that was my first inspiration. But if I make a deck, I know that I want it to be easy to see the cards. I want it to be full of not really traditional symbolism, but maybe a mix of traditional, mix of modern symbolism where you're able to kind of understand what that means when you look at it. And I want it to be easy to see. I want it to be noticeable. And that's one thing that's really cool about the Spolia Tarot too. It's very spacious, so it's really readable. You could look at one card and you're going to know what that card is without reading the titles. Anyways, let's just look at this. So I don't know. What do you guys think? Should I retire my other one? This one, so this one is a little bit lighter than this one. I wonder if it'll show. Let's just do this. So this one I'm starting to break in a little bit. It's really sharp. I wonder if this lighting will show. This one has really dark major card borders, but you're not gonna really see. The minors have really this pastel-y green, which is really cool. So they're a little bit different, and I like that about it. Anyways. That's my perfect deck, y'all. Never stop, never stop. Yeah, so I'm like, okay, I'm gonna make a deck. How am I gonna make a deck when I already have a perfect deck? Am I gonna use it? So this is a hard deck to kind of, you know, I don't want to compete with it, but I want it to be harmonious, I guess, in a way. But this is my deck that I look up to the most. Another deck that I've been studying and referencing is the Ritual Tarot. I am a huge fan of Tierra May's deck. I think one thing that she really hit on this deck was the background, the texturing that she did in the background. I really like, especially this one. I think that really adds a lot to the deck. Also, the statues. The statues she chose to use makes it more versatile, more diverse. It's easy to kind of put yourself more into the card, and I think it's suitable for anybody, like any race or whatever, you know, because some people, there's some issues with people having just white people, or some people have black people or native people, you know. The only thing I dislike about this deck is there's some chopped up coins, but that's pretty much all I don't like about this deck. I think it's really, really good, and I like how she nailed down that aesthetic. It's so colorful, and it's a really beautiful deck. Yeah, I don't know. I love it. I think it's cool. I'm happy to have it. I like to reference it, so sometimes I'm just like thinking of a card. I'm like, I wonder how they interpret the card. So I like to study how other collage artists interpret cards. I love this card. This is so neat. And so I've been noticing more stuff in the backgrounds where I haven't seen before. And it's just been a fun experience with this deck. And I like her little eyes she did. I love this. I love how these are so colorful too with this cloud. It's really well done. And I like how large it is too. I like collages that are larger. This is my favorite card. The Queen of, or the Page of Wands. I would love to get this framed. Nice quality. My throat is starting to get messed up because I've been trying to film this forever. Hold on. Okay. Another deck that I've been referencing and studying is the Voyager Tarot. Pretty much, I'll pull cards sometimes, but mostly I'm just looking at collage decks that I love and appreciate, and I'm kind of figuring out why people love them, or why do I love them, what makes this deck strong, what makes this deck weak. I guess the one thing that makes this deck weak is that it's very all over the place. What makes this deck strong is the companion book. The companion book is really what made me connect to this deck, and that's really important in a deck, I feel, is having a really good guidebook. Also, it explains what's kind of going on in the artwork, but I wish it had a little bit more explained what these pieces all meant. I love this card so much. The colors are beautiful. I don't know. Just thinking, my thoughts, I guess. This is the vintage copy. I love it. I get in moods where I want to use this one or the mass market, but I love them both. This one's a nice reference deck because it's a lot larger, easy to see what's going on. I appreciate the keywords too. Sometimes I still think it was really cheesy at times, but I love the cheesiness of this deck. Ritual Tarot, I think it's all around really good. Yeah, the only thing that the weak part is some of the coins are chopped off, so I didn't really know how to interpret those cards if those coins counted. But you eventually get used to it. You kind of adapt to that art, and you know what it is after, later on. So it's not that big of a deal. You'll adapt to it regardless. And then I think her deck would be amazing if she made a companion book for her deck, because it is so great, and to explain what she put on there, the symbolism, and then I like the description, and I like the divinatory meaning. But yeah, that deck has a lot of potential to be even more big than it is. The Telesma Tarot is amazing. I like to reference this deck. I like how large the deck is. I like the quality of the images. The cardstock isn't the best because it gets all like that, but the coloring is beautiful. The weak part about this deck I've noticed is that I can't look at the card and know exactly what's going on. I don't know what the card is. The strong suit about this deck is the vibrancy, the creativity. It's so cool. It's very rad. It's very hip. It has this fiery movement about this deck, and it's so sexy too. I love the guidebook. I love the divination meanings. So I keep this guidebook in here in my Thoth because it is my favorite go-to guidebook. It talks about the divination possible meanings of each card. I guess it would make this deck even more stronger, and I'm able to connect to these cards more if she just like had a description of what's going on in the cards, and then I think that would make a big difference with this deck. But I love it for its creativity. I haven't been able to connect with it though, but I love it. I like to have it. It's not going anywhere. This is one of my favorite Queen of Cups. Large collage decks matter. Okay, we're almost done, guys. Oopsies. Don't want to say again. Oswald Worth. I've been using this deck every day. As you can see, mine's very used. Is it? Hopefully my stuff is showing. But yeah, I use this every day. I will pull 3 to 6 cards. I found this deck to be very predictive, and it works just as strong as a 78 card deck. All you need is a 22 deck, really. This deck always just laid it all out like just card. It just go boom, 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 and it would tell me a story, sentence, sentence, sentence. I never really found this deck to be a combination kind of deck where I am looking at different combos to see what it meant. I felt like it would tell me the story with the cards. So it would be like nurturing, emperor, structure, or it would just be like mother, father, gaining justice, have courage to surrender, just stuff like that. But yeah, I love this deck so much. I'm happy I have it. This has been one of my most used decks for a few months now, and I'm really happy with it. One of my other favorite decks, the only Oracle that's in here, is the Archetype deck by Kim Krans. You can tell I'm getting a little bit sleepy now. I love this deck. It's very versatile. I haven't used this deck. I had this deck for a long time, and when I first got it, it was kind of a little over my head. I didn't really understand some of the words, but now I understand it. I just had to keep learning more, and yeah, I just wasn't ready for the deck when I got it, but now I'm ready for it. I understand what it means. I understand what everything is saying. So I'm planning to make this deck one of my workhorse decks and keep using it. It's very versatile. It works really well on its own. I'm using this deck as a year ahead. It's my year ahead deck, but I've been using it every day. I like to ask questions, and then it just reads it out perfectly for me. I found this Oracle to be very transformational, inspirational. I feel very empowered when I use it. It really helps kind of love my dark side and my light side. It really gets me comfortable with both, and just to be comfortable in all, that's the best way I could describe it. But I've been loving this deck. I think it's super cool. It's super hip, I guess I would say. Bardo, it took me a while to understand this, but this is like in that middle of death, rebirth. There's like 3 types of Bardos. I was just reading about this, but I can't explain it now. But I didn't know what Bardo meant. I was like, what the hell does that mean? But now I know everything, and I'm ready for this deck, and it's really good. So if you have this deck, definitely check it out. Yeah, having a lot of fun. Always a pleasure with Kim Cran's decks. Maybe I'll pull out the Alchemy deck and finish that one, because I was working on that one, writing all over it, but I put it away, and now, yeah. Okay, so the Adapt Tarot, I worked with this deck a lot. This deck is a independently published deck by Delilah Misk. I like to reference this deck because I think it's really cool. I like how she cut out some stuff. Oh no, my stuff is not... Hopefully this stuff is working, because it's not focusing correctly. But I think this is really cool. I'm able to look at all the cards, and I'm able to see... I know what the card is without looking at this, you know? I like this background, but I think this deck would be even more cooler if... Just because it's like a textured background, I feel like it's too much when it's all like that. But if it was all different types of, you know, background for each suit or each card, I think it would be really extra dope, you know? But I like that, like, she has these symbolism that are very modern and not very traditional divination, divatory, whatever, you know, esoteric meaning, symbolism. But it's very modern, and I'm able to understand what's going on in a more of a modern way, I guess. But it's really cool, and I'm happy I have it. But she sold out on this deck, and I'm pretty sure she'll have another print run. This deck isn't going anywhere, so don't worry about that. Another deck is the Tarot de Noble by Cartogram. I love this deck so much. It's so vibrant. I just started to work with this deck. When I first got it, I had a hard time using it just because it's a Cartogram deck. But I started to use it. Another thing is I'm starting to understand more of like the reversals without noticing, you know, I don't have to look at something to notice it. I've noticed that some of these stamps are not all correctly upright, you know. Some of them are reversal, which is cool. So this one is it was like this, but it's supposed to be like this. But yeah, it's just my favorite Noble deck. This deck is not an altar deck for me. This deck is more of a deck to read on my table. And it reads really well. So this was like that. But it's perfect. It's definitely top 3 of my decks. So there's Thoth, Carol Herzer, this deck are my top 3. And did I mention? I don't know. I am cleaning out some of my decks. So I only have like 90 decks now. And I have some decks stored away over there that I'm trying to sell. And usually when I look at things too, I'm like, well, would I ever give up the Thoth or the Noble or the Carol Herzer decks to work with that deck? And if there's like a yes, maybe, or a no, the no's go right over there to sell. And that's usually how I kind of determine if I'm going to use a deck. And I usually kind of have a vibe that I know that I'm going to work with the deck, even though it's not that time yet. But I know eventually I will get there. So if you're interested in my decks, definitely hit me up. I will give you a link where it's at. It's on Tim and Alan's Facebook Tarot Marketplace. And then you could just email me. And then if you are interested in a deck, feel free to offer whatever. I'm open to fair offers. That's all I could say. And this one I pulled out since I've been cleaning out my decks and selling some decks. So yeah, I have like probably 20 copies of Thoth. And then, so I have like what? Maybe 60 different other decks other than Thoth. So yeah, I have a pretty small collection and I like it more. I feel more happier. It feels more relaxed and cleaner. But that's just my own way. Everybody has a different way, and there's no right or wrong way, but that's just how I've noticed that I like to keep my decks. I like to keep it small. I like them to all have a purpose. Um, I'm very artsy, so I have like my favorite artsy decks and decks that I think work for me or what I like to see in a deck. But anyways, this is my deck when I want to have a deck read to me, not me read a deck. I like to do Celtic Cross with this deck a lot. This is usually like my car deck. I like to just stick it in my car and then I'll keep it and read with it then. But if there's times where I'm kind of foggy in the head and I can't really read for myself, this is the deck that I'll pick up. And I found it to be very like kind and motivating, not harsh. So it's a very sweet deck. It's a good hug deck, I guess. And it's a very easy deck to learn off of. It really makes a lot of sense, and I like how it's laid out and how it's written, because it's very good at clarifying the message for me. So that's a keeper. Other decks that I've been cleaning out and found was the Modern Love Tarot. Since Valentine's Day is coming, I think I will work with this deck. So I got this deck originally when I was first starting out with tarot, and I used it. I probably would have sold this deck, but I've used it, and this edging comes off really quick, and you can see mine's already pretty used. But I got this because I wanted to learn how to do love readings. And when I first got this, it was a little bit hard, but now I look at it, it's very easy. It's very easy to interpret. The thing I don't like about this deck is some of the cards the faces are kind of weird. Like that doesn't look like a person. I thought she looked a little bit scary. He was just weird. These are beautiful. I like the diversity, I like the color. I think these people kind of look odd. Her nose is really weird. Damn, I keep saying again. Her face is weird. I didn't know if that was a girl or guy at first, but look at that background. I started to notice the background. This one looks like a normal person. This, I thought it was a ballerina, and then I just realized recently that there was no body and she's transforming. My favorite card in here, I love her. I think she's so pretty. And I love that. She looks weird with her big nose. This is really pretty. So it's just kind of like this, not all, these artworks are not matching up as much. Like they're very inconsistent, I would say. This is my favorite card. Probably my favorite Three of Cups. And then my other favorite Three of Cups is probably in the Kia Tarot or Kai Tarot. I just sold that deck because I didn't like the court cards. They were like stick figures, but other than that, I really loved the deck. But I knew I wasn't going to pick it up because I didn't like the stick figure court cards. Anyways, this has a beautiful guidebook. Since it's Valentine's, I'm going to use this, and it brings back memories. And I got one more deck. This one, T23. I love this deck. This is by Midnight Tarot, Gregory Badger Murray. Anyways, so I've had this deck forever. I've never used it yet, but this is a deck that I knew that I was going to work with someday. Like it had a special place in my collection. And this is one of those decks that I feel like would be even better as it gets older or more used, more disheveled. And like when it's like this crisp, I feel like it's going to look better as I use it. And that's what I'm kind of excited about when I do use this deck, but I just have not had the drive to use it yet, or it just never clicked yet for me to want to use it. I like this papery cardstock, so I'm excited to see what this deck will look like after it's used and worn and loved. But it's a really good reader. I like the line work. there's something really special about this deck that I really, really love. So I have this out for around Valentine's. I like the colors, the hair. It's a really beautiful deck. So that's it, guys. I feel like I'm getting sleepy. I think I covered everything. Yeah. Anyways, it's good to hear from you guys. It feels like forever that I've been on here, and so I wanted to catch up and say hello and let you guys know what I was up to. Okay, bye.